The Road to Nowhere. Chapter 1. Gasoline and Dust. He'd been driving since dawn. The sun came up over the plains like a slow bruise, bleeding through the clouds. Jack Rayner didn't have a plan, just a half-tank of gas and a voice in his head that kept saying, "Keep going." He stopped at a gas station off Highway 54. The pumps were old, the kind that clicked and sighed like they were tired too. A kid sold him coffee through a cracked window. The cup was paper thin, the coffee bitter. That's where he saw the diner. A white sign with missing letters, Daisy's Place. He wasn't hungry, but something about the light on the windows, that soft amber glow, pulled him in. Chapter 2. Daisy's Place. The bell above the door gave a weak jingle. Inside, the air smelled of frying bacon and bleach. There were maybe 6 booths, all empty. A woman behind the counter looked up, her apron the color of old sky. "You're new," she said. "Guess so. Coffee?" He nodded. She poured it without asking about milk or sugar. The way she moved, slow, careful, made him think she'd been doing this her whole life. After a while, she said, "Name's Linda. Folks call me Daisy." "Jack?" he said. "Passing through?" He thought about it. Something like that. She smiled a little, like she knew what he meant. Most people did. Chapter 3. The Notebook. He carried a small black notebook, the kind truckers used for logbooks, except his pages were full of fragments, notes, overheard phrases, a few sketches. A man talking to no one outside a motel. A girl with a map tattooed on her wrist. He wrote because it kept him from thinking too much. When Daisy brought him a slice of pie, he didn't order. She noticed the notebook. "You a writer?" He shook his head. "Just someone who forgets things." "Seems to me," she said, "that's why most people write." Chapter 4. Ghost Town. That night, the power went out. The whole town fell dark, just a thin line of stars above the flat land. Jack walked outside. The road stretched forever. Black, silent, waiting. He thought about turning the key and driving until the tank ran dry. But he didn't. He sat on the curb, listened to crickets and the faint hum of a distant highway. For a moment, he almost felt still. Daisy came out holding a lantern. "Power goes out a lot," she said. "People around here got used to it." Jack nodded. "Seems like people get used to everything." Chapter 5. The Map. Morning brought a different kind of light. Clean, empty. Daisy handed him a folded map. "If you're heading west, take Route 160. Prettier drive, fewer trucks." He took it, thanked her. She looked at him a long time. "You'll find what you're looking for," she said. He smiled, the kind of smile that didn't reach his eyes. "I'm not looking for anything." "Then maybe it'll find you." He got in the car, started the engine. The map sat on the passenger seat, fluttering in the wind from the open window. The road ahead shimmered, endless, uncertain, alive. He drove on. Chapter 6. Tulsa. He hadn't planned on thinking about Tulsa again. Cities like that stayed on you, not because they were special, but because that's where things went wrong. Back then, he was hauling freight south, sleeping in the cab 3 nights a week. There was a woman, too. Her name was Marcy. Dark hair, sharp laugh, worked in a parts store. She liked him because he was never home long enough to disappoint her. Then came the wreck. Rain on I-44, a car cutting in too fast, his rig too heavy to stop. He remembered the sound, not the impact, a long scraping howl, metal against concrete. No one died. One kid got hurt. They said it wasn't his fault. Still, he saw the kid's face when he tried to sleep. After that, the dream started. He'd be driving an empty road, and in the rearview mirror the trailer was gone. but he could still feel the weight, like he was dragging some invisible thing behind him. So he quit, sold the truck, put the notebook in his pocket, started driving for himself. That was the part he never told people, not even Daisy. Chapter 7. The Letter. He was already 50 miles west when he realized he'd left his notebook in the diner. He cursed, hit the steering wheel, thought about letting it go, but he couldn't. That book was the only straight line through the last few months. Without it, the days would smear together. So he turned back. When he pulled up to Daisy's place again, the sun was higher, the parking lot still empty. He walked in fast. Daisy was behind the counter holding the notebook like she knew he'd come back. "Figured you'd turn around," she said. "Thanks," he said, reaching for it. She didn't hand it over right away. "You write nice," she said. "Didn't read much, just a page." He felt heat rise in his neck. "Wasn't meant to be read." "I know." She slid it to him. "But maybe some things are meant to be said out loud." He pocketed it. Was about to leave when she said, "You still going west?" That was the plan. She hesitated, then reached under the counter and pulled out an old envelope. Yellowed, edges soft. "Then do me a favor." He frowned. "What's this?" "My sister," Daisy said, "lives near Cortez, Colorado. We don't talk much. I write. I don't know if she gets 'em. Mail out here's slow. But you're heading that way. You want me to deliver it? If it's not out of your way." "It is out of my way," he said. Then softer, "But I'll do it." Her eyes smiled. "Knew you weren't just passing through." Chapter 8. The Desert Road. Colorado wasn't close. Between here and there lay hours of flat earth. Towns with one bar and no stoplights. Stretches where the radio turned to nothing. He liked it better that way. He drove through the afternoon, the land slowly lifting, getting drier, meaner. The sky widened. Every now and then he'd touch the envelope on the seat, as if to make sure it was real. What kind of letter sits on a counter for months, he wondered. What kind of sister doesn't write back? Near dusk, he pulled into a roadside motel. Stucco walls, a faded pool, vacancy sign half lit. The clerk didn't care who he was. Paid cash, got a key, room smelled like old smoke and cleaner. He sat on the bed, took out his notebook, and for the first time in weeks he wrote about himself. Not the towns, not the people, not the conversations. Himself. Wreck, 2024. Kid hurt, not my fault, but feels like it. Left Marcy, kept driving. Not sure what I'm trying to outrun. Maybe nothing, maybe everything. He stopped, stared at the ceiling, listened to the desert wind press on the window. The envelope lay on the bedside table, quiet and patient. Chapter 9. The Sister. He found the house 2 days later. Dirt road, cottonwoods, a low ranch-style place with chipped paint. Dogs barked, but not like they meant it. A woman came out onto the porch. Older than Daisy, maybe. Same eyes. Life had sat heavier on her. "Ma'am," Jack said, stepping out of the car. "You Emma?" "I am," she said slowly. "Who's asking?" He held up the envelope. "From Daisy. She asked me to bring it." Emma's face changed in a way he couldn't quite read. Pain, maybe, or memory. She came down the steps, took it from him carefully, like it might break. "She could have called," Emma murmured. "Phone out there don't always work," Jack said, though he didn't know if that was true. It just felt like the right thing to say. Emma looked him over. "You want water, coffee?" He should have said no. He was tired, the road was in his bones. But something about this felt like the middle of the thing. The part where you don't walk away. Inside, the house was tidy, sun-faded. Photos on the wall. 2 girls when they were young. A man in uniform, kids on bicycles. "You a friend of hers?" Emma asked, ripping the envelope open. "Met her 2 days ago." "That sounds like her," Emma said with a short laugh. Then she read. Jack sat at the table, hands around a chipped mug, watching her eyes move. Every now and then she'd stop, press her lips tight, keep reading. When she finished, she folded the letter neatly. "She sick?" "Didn't seem it." "Then maybe she's lonely." Jack didn't answer. He knew lonely when he saw it. He'd seen it in mirrors. Emma looked at him. "You know why we don't talk much?" "That's none of my men," she said. "Always men. She married young. I ran off. We got stubborn. Years pass, but she still writes." "She thinks about you," Jack said. Emma nodded. "Yeah," she said, voice catching. "I know." They talked a little more, about the town, about the heat, about nothing. Just two strangers holding a thin thread that started in a small diner on Highway 54. When he stood to go, Emma said, Tell her I got it. I will. And tell her I kept the photo." She smiled sadly. She'll know. Which one? Chapter 10. The Choice. He could have turned north after that, or south, or back east. That was the thing about open country. Every direction was possible and none of them promised anything. But as he got back on the highway, desert sun high and blinding, he felt something loosen inside him. Not everything. Just a knot he'd been carrying since Tulsa. Because here's what he understood then. The road wasn't the point. The people were. The small errands, the dumb kindnesses, the letters that finally got where they were going. He pulled over at a rest stop, dust swirling around the tires, and took out his notebook. He flipped through the pages, gas stations, faces, motels, that kid outside Wichita, Daisy's hands on the coffee pot. At the back, on a clean page, he wrote, Daisy, she still loves her sister. Emma, still waiting. Me, I can stop now if I want. He sat there a long moment, engine off, heat pressing in. Then he did something he hadn't done in months. He turned the car around. The road east felt different. Not lighter, exactly, but clearer. He knew where he was going. Back through the small towns, past the motel, past the empty fields, until the sign came into view again. Daisy's Place. He parked, walked in. The bell gave its tired jingle. Daisy looked up, surprised, then something like relief flashed across her face. "Thought you were heading west," she said. "I was." "You get it to her?" "I did. She told me to tell you she got it and she kept the photo." Daisy laughed, a real, bright laugh that filled the diner. For a moment she was younger. "Damn," she said. "I didn't think she would." Jack sat at the counter. "Figure I could stay a day," he said. "Maybe 2, help out if you need it." Daisy wiped an already clean spot on the counter. "I always need it." He opened his notebook, laid it beside the coffee cup. The diner was empty, the day was long, the sky outside was the same wide American sky it always was. But for the first time in a while, Jack Rayner wasn't just passing through. He was exactly where he'd chosen to be.